Welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah. I am finally filming after several weeks off, and I thought I would start off today by filming a yes, no, maybe for the first 2 months of 2026. I am aware I didn't do one for December. I don't plan on doing one for December at this point. A lot of things happened in that month for me. A lot of terrible things happened in that month. I'm not going to rehash them. It's on the channel. So we're just going to jump into January and February, yes, no, maybe, and the way these work. If you've seen this trend on like TikTok or Instagram, I'm just going to mention each book I read, very short, brief synopsis, if I give one, with a yes, you should read it, no, I would pass, or maybe, with whatever caveat I want to add. So let's get into it. This should be a quick video. These usually are, but this is 2 months, so it may be a little longer than normal. So starting off in January, and I am looking in my journal, so if you see me look down or hear the pages, that's just part of it. I read The Cyprin by Mercedes Lackey. I love Mercedes Lackey, so this is a maybe for me. You may not like Mercedes Lackey as much as I do. Her writing style is one that you may have to get used to. This is like a Victorian setting sort of novel, so it has that tone. So this is a maybe for me. But if you do like Mercedes Lackey, this is in the Elemental Masters series, and I think it's worth a read. Silver and Blood by Jessie Mahalik. This is a no from me. I didn't love this. I thought this was too long. I thought this was predictable. It felt very familiar in a way that I didn't love, so this one is a no for me. I did comfort read through the first 4 volumes of Naruto, which is always going to be a yes from me, but it's an old shonen manga. If you've not read Naruto and you like the anime, 100% read the manga. It's so worth going back to the roots on it. But if it's not something you're interested in, you're not interested in it. I Told You So by Matt Kaplan is a nonfiction book about scientists who have been treated as if they were wrong in history, but it turns out they were right in the long run. This is a maybe. I have read I have read books on this topic that were maybe a little better, but this one is shorter and it might work good for you. I don't know. When I read this, I think it was colored by something I had read previously, so my opinion may not be completely unbiased. Unruly by David Mitchell is a yes. Well, it's really more of a maybe, as long as you don't mind someone taking a very heavy, humorous jab at monarchy in Britain. As long as you don't mind that, it's a yes. But it's a maybe if you're not much for humor in your nonfiction. The Poet Empress is a solid yes. Please, it's so good. A lot of people have been classing this as romance or romantasy. It is not. It is fantasy. It is fantasy with a marriage at its heart, but it is like an arranged marriage with an emperor. This is not a romance. It is 100% a fantasy, and it is a hard yes for me. I absolutely love this. Please look it up and read it. It's got a beautiful sprayed edge edition if you really like those as well. We Are Legion, We Are Bob by Dennis E. Taylor. Yes, if you like science fiction, if you like the sort of discussion of AI, machine learning, the idea of traveling out into space to other planets and like discovering things or resource gathering, you like games like StarCraft or Mass Effect, yes, 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 yes. Wife-Shaped Bodies by Laura Cranehill. Maybe. If you want some like weird feminine rage, this is going to be a yes. If you don't like mushroom horror, this is going to be a no. This is very, very heavy on the mushroom horror. So heavy, in fact, within the first few pages, you do find out these women are made of mushrooms. Not like, they're wife-shaped. They're not completely human. Okay? It's very good, though. It's interesting, and it makes you think. It makes you think so much that I changed my opinion on it over time. I didn't love it when I finished it, but on reflection, I liked it more. So take that as you will. Once There Was a Town by Jane Ziegelman. I'm going to say this is a no, just because I don't think it fully delivers on its premise, which is that it is supposed to be looking at the idea of these Jewish memory books that hold the memories of these towns that were lost in and around World War II. We mostly focus just on the stories of this Jewish family and the town they came from, that the author is from, less on the books themselves, I feel. And I just left feeling like I read a very convenient history of her family, and it didn't quite work for me entirely. I mean, mileage may vary, but for me, this was a no. The Dawn of Everything, A New History of Humanity. I'm going to give this a no with a slight maybe if you like really dense, idea-driven nonfiction where we're going against the grain. So this is presenting the idea of fighting well, it's presenting the idea that we should not perhaps believe the idea that, Native Americans and indigenous peoples of all sorts, and then like we scale up into, the Industrial Revolution, right? These societies were much more advanced than we give them credit for. I mean, most everyone agrees on that, right? They're taking a new lens to it. Like, how did those societies operate? They're trying to find the root of inequality, and they think that inequality basically started when in the industry and when modern things began to come into effect. And it's interesting, but it's not fully fleshed out, I think, in the way it needs to be. But it is very dense, and it does have some interesting ideas in it. That was everything in January. For February, I did manage to read a bit more because I was in a little bit better headspace. So, jumping in on January, I read another shonen nostalgia read, and that was Dragon Ball Volume 1. I have to give the Dragon Ball mangas a maybe. I was supposed to be reading these with my husband and our best friend, and both of them noped out, and they are hardcore Dragon Ball Z all Dragon Ball fans. Just, they love the whole franchise, but even they were just like, it's not so fun. They thought it was dry, all this stuff. It's got a lot of humor that I don't think modern audiences will necessarily love. I think it's hilarious, but I'm a millennial with potty humor, so, not for everybody. I get it. But I like Dragon Ball, so I'll probably try to finish out the Dragon Ball of young Goku out before going into Z. The Rebel, Romanov by Helen Rappaport. Yes, I really liked this. It made Russian history interesting to me. I've never had much of an interest in Russian history. Obviously, as a kid, I loved Anastasia, the movie, but I didn't know anything else about it. This made it interesting, and this is about a was she a duchess? I think she was a duchess, and how she was married into the Russian family and just did everything in her power to get out of that situation. I thought it was great. I gave it 5 stars. I bought my own copy. I loved it so much because I read it on an e-arc. Blazing Eye Sees All by Leah Sotil. Sotil? I think that's how you say that. I also really liked this nonfiction. It looks at the idea of modern age, especially women, seeking meaning in like new age occult things. I say occult, like cult specifically, just cult. Things like the Love Has Won cult and other things that kind of sprout up and around that. I thought this was really fascinating. I couldn't put it down. I really liked it. I like books about cults. If you do, this is a great nonfiction. It also talks a lot about the Love Has Won documentary. I still haven't watched that, but I do want to. So if you have watched that, you may like this book as well. I then read the collected fragments of The Ancient Magus Bride. It's a bind-up of short stories in that world. That's a yes if you like Ancient Magus Bride, or if you're wanting to try it, because I think it does introduce the world in a fantastic way. And I also read by the same author, Ghost and Witch Volume 1, which is set in that same world, but is about different characters. It's not about Corey and Elias. I had to think for a second. It's Corey, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah? Wait, I'm having a moment. Hold on. Corey? Chise. Where did I get Corey? Oh, Corey. Chise and Elias. Corey is the author's name. Chise and Elias. It's not about Chise and Elias. It's about 2 new characters, one of which is cursed by a snake that follows her, and the other is a witch. This is a maybe, because with a lot of first volumes in manga, you don't know how it's going to shape up. I did find it interesting, and I do love the world, so I am going to continue, and I'll report back in a few more months what I think if you should continue. Honey by Imani Thompson is a thriller, feminine rage sort of serial killer book. This is going to be, I think, a yes if you like that genre, but do take my opinion with a grain of salt because I don't read it a lot. I was very interested in what was going to happen. I do wish we had more in the ending, like more explanation, but I know that's part and parcel with that type of a book. So I liked it. I liked it a lot. So yes, but I'm not super entrenched in that genre, so I don't know how familiar it would be to longtime readers. Operation Bounce House by Matt Denneman. I'm gonna give it a yes, a big yes, but I am gonna say it's not Dungeon Crawler Carl. Don't expect Carl. don't go in looking for the same amount of levity and humor. Carl builds slowly to its heavy stuff. This does not. This is heavy, and it's very topical for the current moment. So know that. But yes, For Human Use by Sarah G. Pierce, I thought was the weirdest thing that I read that month, and it's a yes. I actually want my own copy. It is a yes. It's very weird. It's about a startup in like present day, but that startup matches people with, it's like Tinder, but with dead bodies, and it somehow normalizes necrophilia. And you spend the whole book going, how are we not like up in arms about that? But honestly, with the state of the Epstein, well, I can't say that. I can't say the name of the list, but knowing what we know about the people on the list, I'm not surprised, right? They're still out there. So, but that's a yes for that book. Bloodfire Baby by Erin Carson. I'm still not sure how to say her first name. This was a no for me. If you do not have triggers around like postpartum depression, psychosis, grief, and motherhood, it could work. I can't tell you if it will work because this one messed me up. So this is a no from me. It is very realistic to the point of reliving that sort of thing. So that's a no for me. Maybe someone else who has read it can say otherwise. Strange Animals by Jerry K. Anderson. I thought it was fantastic. It takes place, I believe it's Upper New York. It's about a man who he finds himself in the woods and gets caught up in like a paranormal crypto naturalist role. It's fantastic, beautiful prose, and I can't wait to read more. I read the third Battle Mage Farmer. Always a yes. I love Battle Mage Farmer. I listened to the audiobook. A big yes for the Michael Kramer narration. It's fantastic. If you like lit RPG, this series is a must read. About a Place in the Kinku Region by Suzuki. This is maybe. This is very much a translated Japanese fiction book, Japanese horror. So it has the feel of a Japanese horror. There's a very specific cadence and feel to Japanese prose, and this has that. It's also in mixed media, so I don't know that a lot of people will get on with that, but I had fun with it. It wasn't quite the 5-star I expected, but I really enjoyed it. We're almost done with February. The Hungry Gods by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I read this on audio. This is a maybe, probably leaning into a no. It's just a short story, but it is a fascinating idea, and I did like it, but I can see it not having mass appeal about man coming back to Earth after they thought it was destroyed, and we're following Rabbit, a young woman who's part of a tribe that just barely manages to survive. And they consider these men the Hungry Gods, and it is the fallout from their return. And the best book that I read in February was The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. Yes, all of the yes, 1000% the yes, yes. Fantastic book. I can't believe it took me this long to read it. The audiobook narration is perfection. It's beautiful. I loved it. No questions. No questions will be accepted. I love that book. I really liked it. And then finally, the last two things I read in February were Rooster Fighter Volume 7 and 8. I am now, as of this month, caught up on the series. The anime is out. So if you have tried the anime and you were like, what on earth am I watching? Read the manga. It's a maybe. I have to give it a maybe. I know I have to give it a maybe in the same way I have to give any like JoJo Bizarre Adventure a maybe. It's supposed to be a touch of satire, absurdity, and ridiculousness. And it is. It's about chickens and roosters fighting demons and saving humans, okay? I know it's ridiculous, but I love that stuff. So, maybe do with that as you will. But that is everything that I read in January and February. Do I think you should read it? If you want more information or anything like that, I have videos where I talked about all of these. I'm getting ready to film my March reads so far because I took a few weeks off unintentionally, and so there'll be more videos coming up as well. But yeah, I really loved some of these books. I can't say I loved all of them, but the ones I gave a yes, I really do think more people should read. So please give them a try. Let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye.